Welcome to Near Falls with D. Hall. He's talking on bars and how they win it all. Yeah, it's just Near Falls with D. Hall. The final takedown, the glory or the fall. So loosen up, step on in, wrestle with the need to win. We're talking Near Falls with D. Hall. Ready or not, he's here to brawl.
What's going on, wrestling fans? Welcome into another edition of Near Falls with D Hall, a wrestling podcast. Today, so excited. This is the best time of year. My favorite project of the year, the 24-25 WPIAL Coaches Preview. So excited to bring this to you guys. I have a bunch of different coaches coming on from across the WPIAL. They're going to come on, talk about their schedule, expectations, up-and-comers, their leaders, their seniors, all that type of stuff. You guys know the drill. This is year 3 or 4 of me doing it. So pumped up to bring it to you guys. I really hope you enjoy it, and just hope you enjoy listening to these guys talk like I did. It was always a blast for me, and this year was no different. So without further ado, welcome in to the WPIAL Coaches Preview.
Welcome to the Near Falls WPIAL Show, where D.R. and Kaz are gonna tell you all the things you wanna know. Whether it's Trinity or Spencer Lee or Mr. Kurt Angle, just ask Vinny, WPIAL, yeah, Ken and Mac for sure. They got the interviews to soothe your soul, because it's Near Falls in the WPIAL.
All right, joining me now on the call, we have head coach of Hampton Area School District, Mr. Nick Endress. How are you, sir?
Doing good. Thanks for having me on. It's always fun.
Super pumped up to have you on, as always. A freedom boy at heart, now over at Hampton. And, man, we got a lot to talk about. I've had a bunch of coaches on that are fired up about the dog duels. We're going to get into that. And you guys are making stepping stones in the right direction as well. So let's just dive into it, man. How's the alumni group looking? Who's all wrestling in college? Who's doing big things post high school?
Yeah, we still have a lot that were competing this time last year, collegiately, still competing. As far as Zach Wright is still on the mat. He's a starter, 125 for San Francisco State for Jason Welch and his team out there out west. Ty Kozak is actually in his grad year, starting all the way up at 197, which is pretty crazy. I remember him when he was real small, down at 145 when I came to Hampton. And before that, he started at 107. But he's at 197 for his final year for George Mason. And then Isabella, she is wrestling. She graduated for us last year, won WPIAL title. We were super proud of her. And she's up at Gannon now. Though she unfortunately has taken a medical red shirt, had a pretty tough injury at the very beginning of the season. But, knowing her, I know she'll take the right steps to get back on the mat healthy and well. And then we have a slew of Hampton wrestling alum playing college football with Jaden Resch and Gage Galeska. They're playing at Edinburgh. And Dawson Dietz is trying to be the first 3-time All-American for W&J, doing really well on the D line in the trenches. He was a state medalist heavyweight for us, and he's killing it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised by that one. That dude was a monster in high school, and you're telling me he's a monster in college? That makes sense. So, yeah, that's good stuff, man. I love to hear that, whatever they're doing, as long as they're, doing well, I love to hear that. So let's roll into this team, man. Talk to me about the off-season program. Do you guys have one? What's it look like? Do you have guys in the room, guys that go to club? What's it look like over there at Hampton?
Yeah, we like to get our guys on the mat in the room with us. We know guys like to go other places, which we really encourage. I think, club wrestling is the best around here in Western PA. I mean, how could you not want to have your kids use those resources? But we do love having them in the room with us, and we do two times a week in the summer, June and July, before we then throttle it back. We do have a lot of kids on the football team and doing other fall sports where once August hits, we let them focus on their fall sport. And then those that aren't in a fall sport, we let them get ready for school and get their, schedule in order before then we kick things back off after the school year starts. But yeah, we're always getting time on the mat with them. I think that's probably going to be increasing as our numbers in the years ahead are going to keep increasing, which I can talk about later. But we're having a lot of kids come out for wrestling in Hampton, which is good.
No, love to hear that numbers are increasing. That's always a great thing. Talk to me about guys or someone that's been in your program for a long time, maybe a leader or a captain that you're leaning on this year.
Yeah, Dustin Kerr is one that pops up, and we don't have any returning seniors. We had 9 that graduated last year, and so we actually are like a small numbers team at the varsity level. We only have 17 currently. We actually had a huge group of freshmen that most of them went down. We had about 13, 14 freshmen, and we're only holding 4. But the good news is everybody on our varsity team is returning next year, and then we're going to get a big clump of incoming sophomores and some now 8th graders coming up that will, I think, make an impact as freshmen. But I bring up Dustin because he's only a junior, but he's definitely a leader in the room as far as like he's the kind of kid that loves the tough things about the sport. He just told me, I believe it was yesterday, like, Coach, it's not a practice unless we go live. He always wants to be doing live wrestling. He does not shy away from competition. That's probably his strongest attribute as a wrestler. It's funny, you get the story of a lot of kids wrestle better in practice. Like, man, I wish that guy, you should see him in practice, man. He's lights out, and doesn't always match up in competition, where it's kind of the reverse for him. There's only been one time I've seen him in competition where he just wasn't himself. And he knows the match I'm talking about when I think back to it. But he always rises, bringing his best game when it's time to compete. So it's really fun to watch and fun to see him like act that out for others to see. And it's something to learn from and grow from for the rest of our team.
Yeah, man, it's always good to have an example set, and an example that works hard makes it that much easier, no doubt. So on the other side of that coin, talk to me about, freshmen or newcomers to the lineup that, we might look up and say, hey, that dude's got a chance at the end of the year.
Yeah, when we have 2 incoming freshmen that will both be at our lightest weights, 107 and 114, and I anticipate both of them possibly securing the starting spot, likely in those positions, with Ty Rawlings at 107 and Ben Lom at 114. They don't have the biggest accolades coming up to the high school level, but again, similar to like the crew I think of last year, they're responding the right way in the room. I think of last year, we had a freshman, he's now a sophomore, Aiden Shim at 107, and he was slow coming along. And then by the time the end of the season came, he qualified for the WPIAL tournament. He made it to the second day of the WPIAL tournament. So when you see it early on in the process that those young guys are, they're listening, they're giving the head nod. They're just buying what you're feeding them. They're ready to go. And that we're seeing that with our young kids. And those are just 2. And we have a few others in the room that are doing the same thing. And that's what we want to see.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Talk to me about your schedule. How did you build it this year? What's it look like? Is it different? Just run that down for me.
Yeah, our schedule's changed a little bit. The beginning of the season looks similar to last year, where we're starting at the Char Houston tournament. I saw you there last year. That's a good one. It's a nice 2-day tournament. Get a good challenge in right away. And then we have we're hosting our dog duels the second weekend in December, which you mentioned it, that some coaches may have mentioned that they're looking forward to. We certainly are. We take a lot of pride.
Yeah, man, you got a lot of squads coming out. It's certainly turning into a dog duel. I love it, man.
Yeah, I mean, we have Canamac coming in, Bethel Park, Greater Latrobe, Fox Chapel, TJ, Central Catholic, Plum. Altoona's coming in from out of town. Ooh. Plus we have Mars, Beaver, Mount Pleasant, Indiana, and ourselves. So it's going to be a full day, a lot of action pack, a lot of good wrestling.
So where are you setting my table up, my friend?
You just let me know where you want to be.
My man.
I can tell you which matches will be where, and I'm sure you'll find the mat you want to be at.
Yeah, no doubt.
But that would be a big weekend for us and for those teams coming right away. But we also have, shortly after that, the beginning of the new year, we'll be out for the first time out of Indiana's tournament, Beau Wood. I think there'll be some teams there that we typically don't see that will be good for our guys to get competition, seeing a different crowd than what we typically see during the season. And then we hit some tournaments that are a mainstay in our program with Allegheny counties. And then Fred Bell is one we've been going to pretty consistently up in Grove City. And that tournament just gets tougher and tougher every year.
Buddy, I've been hearing a lot of great things on the Fred Bell. A lot of coaches have come on here and said, they either are going up there for the first time or they're 100% locking it in on the schedule. Just how it's ran, it's a good facility, great people, the nines. So yeah, man, I'm echoing what I've been hearing on that.
Yeah, they do a fantastic job. And then before the postseason, we'll join Upper St. Clair. They're hosting, I believe, their first their duels. We'll be going down there for their Panther duels the beginning of February. And that's the end of our season apart from our section duels.
For sure. Okay. Talk to me about room games. What do you guys get into over there at Hampton?
We're pretty consistent with two-man dodgeball, and it gets pretty competitive, pretty heated, which is fun. It's a fun way to just downshift, let them have fun, whether it's a warm-up or a cool-down. And actually, they have another game. I don't even know what they do.
Yeah, downshift as they fist fight each other over possession of a ball,
exactly.
probably.
But lately, they've been doing another game as we're waiting for practice start. People are rolling in the room, checking their weight, cleaning the mat. They'll get a dodgeball, and I think it's kind of like keepy uppy, but with a dodgeball, just trying to keep it up in the air, and it's like the whole team's doing it. Simple.
That was the other thing I said about a few times. Wrestlers are simple creatures, man. We can make games out of anything, and we'll create the rules on the spot, but we will be the first ones to argue about those rules that we just created. So yeah, for sure. I love that. Okay, next thing I got on the list here is goals and expectations. What are you thinking for this squad? What's it looking like? Just break that down for me.
Yeah, I mean, I would be lying if I didn't say it wasn't going to be a challenge. We're very young. We have more experience in years past. And so I really want to see our kids grow to be excellent competitors, which is a message I think that's common in wrestling, to step out on the mat and practice doing your absolute best, no matter what singlet the other guy's wearing, what their shoes look like, where you're at in the bracket, to begin to take that out. If the team score is not in our favor, to begin focusing on your controllables. I think if we do that in a year where we may not have as much success as a team as we have in years past, then the good things will start coming, not just individually, but, we really want team success. That's something that we really preach to the guys. But we are going to be young, and there's going to be some challenging growth, which is good. It's a nice new challenge.
Yeah, and it's always good to see, the new challenges and how the kids kind of take to it and, where they go with it. So next thing I got is coaching staff, man. Break it down for me. I know you got one of my dudes on the staff, Mr. Kenny D, but, talk about the rest of the squad.
Yeah, I'm really glad that Kenny's back. We love having Kenny in the room. I know he has a son and a few more on the way with our youth program. So he's involved with our youth program, and he's still in the high school room with us. And then we also have Ethan Headley. Ethan is a familiar name. He had great success down at Waynesburg, and then he wrestled for Pitt. His brother's down there coaching at Pitt, and we love having Ethan in the room. And then we also have another new guy on staff, Dom Rigas. Dom's a Eastern PA guy, had a lot of success in high school as a state medalist, wrestled for Clarion, did really well for them. And, he's a police officer in the, neighboring school district of Deer Lakes, which we just created a co-op with Deer Lakes this year. So it's really great to have him in the community over there as we build and make connections with our two programs as, we're getting new athletes from Deer Lakes to join us.
Look at you snagging some boys from the Lehigh Valley, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah, and he does really great stuff. I mean, Dom was just teaching some top stuff today. I'm loving it. I love learning as a coach, and so I love seeing different guys' styles and how it can adapt to our guys in the room. Because what you do is not always what your athletes do.
Yeah, for sure, and that's that's good that you guys have a bunch of different flavors. See where the kids gravitate towards and how it all works out. That's great stuff. Next thing I got, social medias. How can we follow your squad this year?
Yeah, Talbot's Wrestling on Instagram is probably the one that gets updated the most consistently. I know there's a Facebook, but I think that's more for like our community and our alumni. And I'm not even on Facebook, so I'm not even sure everything that gets posted there, but I know it's used pretty often. But as far as like one for public access, our Instagram, Talbot's Wrestling is is updated pretty often throughout the season.
Okay. Anything or anyone you want to shout out before I leave you go, my friend?
I'm pretty excited about the Hampton wrestling program. I mentioned our team a lot, but our junior high program, we're going to have like 35 to 40 kids on the mat competing for that team. And, we're really excited. One name I didn't mention on staff with us at the high school is Joe Bursick, because he's now leading our junior high team. And so, good things are going to come with that crew. And he has a great crew of coaches with him, with Ken Hasselrig, as a national runner-up, I believe, for Clarion back in the day. And he has other guys in there, Ed Barry and Joe Brazili and John Hollabaugh. Just a great.
Not a bad slew of coaches for a junior high room, my friend. Holy crap.
Not at all. And they need it. They're going to have a talented crop of kids in there. And I'm really excited to see them compete just as much as I am, our own guys. So I'm excited for Hampton Wrestling. We have a lot of kids in the youth program with our youth coach, Chris Ruggieri, leading it. And, you mentioned sharing about people you're thankful for. I have to thank probably people that don't get thanked enough publicly in wrestling programs. And that's our boosters, and our booster president. Her name's Gretchen Bennett, and she is fantastic. Just doing a lot of things that people don't see that really help shape the program and the culture from the bottom to the top. And we have a good one with Gretchen, with our booster president.
They really are the glue that kind of holds the program together, right? I mean, because they're doing, like you said, the no-name stuff, the stuff that a lot of people don't want to do, the dirty work. So, that's good stuff. Yeah,
it's the kind of stuff that builds a culture where people want to be there, when their kids competing on the the junior high match, they want to stay for the high school match, and then youth kids want to come for the events. It's those kind of people that connect everybody together.
For sure. Anything else, my friend?
No, I'm just thankful to come on and talk some wrestling. I love wrestling.
Who doesn't, my friend? And it is this time of year. It's snow on the ground. It's cold as shit outside. I can't wait, man. I snuck around the West A room tonight just to see what the guys were up to. It's that time of year. I'm so excited. And, like you said, I will see you at Chartiers Houston at the first tournament of the year, my friend.
Yeah, and you got to come back out to Dog Duels.
Oh, you know that. I'm definitely coming back out to the Dog Duels, especially this year. Oh, my goodness. It's like a mini WPIAL tournament this year. It's great stuff, man. And you guys do just a fantastic job. 2 gyms, and it's spread out. Everyone has a place to sit. Everyone has, it's top tier stuff.
So, we appreciate it.
My man. Appreciate you. And thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with me.
Thank you.
My man.